My name is Brock Lafon. I'm a ramp manager with Global Aviation Services based in Edmonton, Canada. The overall experience with the Avro team has been more than pleasant. They have been extremely responsive and receptive to our comments, even our criticisms of the equipment. I know when we first began using this equipment, I was skeptical. I have had years of experience with other well-established brands within the industry, brands that have set the standard, and to us, this newcomer arrives with different ideas. And it's funny, in this industry, different is sometimes scary. But I also found those ideas to be refreshing. And again, with the team at Avro being receptive to our input, helped to better our situation here. They've even taken some of our feedback and modified some of the equipment features and functionality based on our testing. Nowhere else have I received this level of really custom one-on-one time versus the other guys, the larger corporations. I may be with a sales guy at best, and the answer responses we'll get to it when we can. The team there, they've all been great to deal with. Many of them are receptive and very responsive via email, cell phone, usually same-day response by email. Most of the time they pick up, and then the second ring when we call them up. I really can't complain about how well they have been accepting us and our requests and our questions. A huge positive with that is that it allows us to be versatile. So when we have a customer that comes to us and they implement a new SOP, or they want to see a new feature because of an incident that occurred somewhere else, that allows us, that relationship that we have with the Avro team allows us to relay that and to see action versus the behemoths that take a long time to move. A lot of airlines will tout that safety is first priority for all of us. But really, behind that and the fine print, it's get the plane out on time. And for us, that really translates to having equipment that works, equipment that's easy to work on, and minimum downtime. And I can say honestly, with having used this equipment for the past year, all 4 seasons, and I'm talking full on spring, summer, fall, winter seasons, our downtime has been at a minimum with this equipment. So as a manager, really, and even for an operations coordinator, this is a fantastic tool on a number of levels. And first and foremost, fleet tracking, knowing where your equipment is at almost any given time. And not only where it is, but who's operating it, what the fuel level is at. This suite of tools that comes with this really has proven itself to be invaluable to us, not only from a performance aspect, but also from a cost analysis and cost savings aspect. We can run analytics. How long has a specific piece been running? What's its downtime? We can do cost usage ratio. How expensive is it to run this piece of equipment based on history? The other amazing part about this software is the tracking for G-force inertia collisions. So I can tell when there's been an incident, when there's been a collision, how fast the vehicle was going, who was operating it, how hard the collision was, and approximately where on the vehicle it happened. In this industry, and as with many industries, a lot of times there will be an incident that occurs, and surprisingly, no one knows what happened. This cuts out a lot of those unknowns. It gets us to where we need to be to ask the right questions to the right people. So really at the end of the day, there's been no surprises anymore. And that's been a huge deal, at least on the management level. We know what's happening with our equipment. Another great part about this system, and it's an unfortunate fact of the industry, people borrow equipment that doesn't necessarily belong to them. With this, we have all of our employees badged and all of their badges programmed to our equipment. So, if I'm from another company and I'm running behind on my delivery, I can't just hop in an Avro tug and make that delivery. Because as soon as I swipe my badge to start the ignition switch, it will deny me access. And that's also part of what lets me know who operated what and when. So really, a tool that I was aware of, but hadn't had a lot of hands-on experience with, and really changed my outlook on what telematics can be. And I am excited to see what it's going to bring later on. I think this is the future for ground support equipment. This is the way everyone should go. So this has definitely saved us some arrival minutes, if you will, because we're charged for every minute that we're late. It's not uncommon for someone to walk into the ready room and say, hey, I need a vehicle. Great, let me find one for you. I can tell you exactly where it is in the airport. I can tell you how much fuel is in it. And this way, I'm not sending you out to a random place hoping there's something there and hoping it has fuel. And really, it's cut down the time there, and I know the job's gonna get done, and I know we're not wasting extra steps in between on hopes. I know for a fact with this. So for those of you who are in that position of constantly looking at the bottom line and how this equipment has a direct effect on that, the Avro tracking software really has enabled us to look deeper into what our equipment is doing for us. And that is something that's missing from the other guys. Knowing the uptime of the equipment and the distribution of that equipment allows me to balance or equalize the usage across the fleet, so I'm not wearing out something quicker than another. It enables me to have equal usage across the board. Or if I decide that I do want to run something down first and keep something fresh, I can keep track of that. And I can even go to the point of locking out a piece of equipment digitally and preventing complete use of that equipment. Knowing the overall uptime and fuel consumption obviously speaks to the bottom line. Our idling time. How long are we burning this engine without actually putting it to work? Knowing that information really helps us to communicate to my team, the frontline guys using the equipment. They don't always understand the numbers behind it, but when I have visuals to go with it, it really speaks to the team and helps them realize more what it is that we're doing and how it affects us as a company. Our fleet primarily consists of belt loaders and bag tugs. And again, having worked with well-established brands, I was skeptical upon receiving this new equipment with new ideas. Some of those new ideas, they were home runs right off the get-go. I can tell you, none of my guys missed the older equipment once they sat in these cabs. So far, none have been better sealed, have better heaters or more comfortable seats than any other providers that we have in use on our work site today. They're always in circulation. My guys are always driving them, and I know that they work. Downtime is minimal on these tugs. My mechanic, also skeptical, having worked on other equipment, other brands, well-established brands, and having his set of workflows. Coming into this equipment, working on this equipment was an easy transition for him. Unlike other brands and other equipment types, a lot of the access points that are critical for maintenance personnel are readily and easily accessible. You pop this hood open, a lot of room to work around in there. Parts are easy to find, and some of the stuff that we needed, we even got overnight from the guys at Avro. The other piece of our main fleet with Avro equipment is their belt loader. This is a modified variant based on input that we've given the team, and we've done some back and forth. The first models, not that there's anything wrong with them, but there were some things that could have been done better, and we're glad that they worked with us and helped realize some of these changes within a speedy amount of time. Switching to Avro, now I was in a position where I didn't have a choice. It was more or less, here's the equipment you're going to use. But if you are in that position to make the decision and you're wondering, is Avro a good pick for you? Some of the things I've learned over this past year using equipment may help you in that decision. And really, a big factor for me and why I would repurchase is their attention to the customer. Unlike the larger equipment manufacturers out there, unlike the other well-established brands that some of us are used to, being a smaller, more versatile, and I think ultimately a hungry company. They want to grow, they want to develop, they're looking for feedback, and they have a willingness to work with you, the customer. And we have seen such fast implementation of recommendation and changes to suit our needs that we would not get with the other guys. The one-on-one relationship that we've had with the Avro team does not exist with the other guys. The other manufacturers, I may have a contact, one person, one sales guy, one maintenance guy, and that's the extent of it. But really, the contact has been the team, and it's the team that makes the difference. It's their willingness to work with us and their versatility that enables us to be more successful on the equipment front. Avro is a company with ambition. They work with you, the service provider, using their equipment to provide the service that you provide. And that, for me, sets them apart.